Welcome to Culture Alley Mandarin. Ni hao. This is Basic Mandarin Lesson 27. Let's start by going over some of the phrases that we learned in the last lesson. Welcome translates to 欢迎, while arrive becomes 光临. Similarly, you, being plural, will be 你们. And the formal measure word for people is 位. Us translates to 我们. And menu is 菜单. Order becomes 点菜, while dish becomes 菜. Lastly, want translates as 要. In Mandarin. Wonderful! Here are a few more. Eat translates as 吃, while beef will be 牛肉. Dumplings becomes 饺子. And fish is 鱼. French fries translates as 薯条. And chicken wings is 鸡翅. Also, noodles becomes 面条. Spring rolls become 春卷. And noodle soup is 汤面. Excellent! Great! Now let's take a look at the conversation we started with. As always, we start off with English.
Welcome, guests. May I ask how many people?
3 of us.
This is the menu. Please order.
I want beef dumplings and fish. Here's the conversation in Mandarin.
欢迎光临。请问你们几位？
我们3位。
这是菜单，请点菜。
我要吃牛肉饺子和鱼。Here are a few other sentences we learned earlier. I want French fries and 2 chicken wings translates as 我要吃薯条和2个鸡翅。And I want noodles becomes 我要面条。Also, I want spring rolls and noodle soup becomes 我要春卷和汤面。Great! All right, let's move on to today's lesson, which covers the second part of our conversation at a restaurant. Today, we will continue with our last lesson and talk a little more about food and beverages. Let's take a look at the conversation we shall cover today. My friend does not eat meat or fish, so get us 2 bowls of rice.
All right. What would you like to drink?
I'd want a little red wine.
All right.
Great! Let's start the new conversation by looking at the first sentence we are covering, which is, my friend does not eat meat or fish. Let's recall some grammar rules before moving on. Recall that Mandarin does not use the word and to link sentences. Instead, it uses linking words such as 也. Great! Now let's learn how to say meat. Meat translates to 肉, which is pronounced with a falling tone, like 肉. Excellent! The sentence, my friend does not eat meat or fish, literally translates as, my friend not eat meat, also not eat fish. Let's take a look at the breakup. My translates to 我. while friend becomes 朋友. Similarly, not becomes 不, and eat becomes 吃. Meat translates as 肉, while also becomes 也. Once again, not translates as 不, and eat is 吃. And finally, fish translates as 鱼. Thus, my friend does not eat meat or fish translates to 我朋友不吃肉，也不吃鱼。Excellent! Now let's look at the next part of the sentence, which is, so get us 2 bowls of rice. That literally breaks down as, then give us 2 bowls of rice. We already know how to say us and 2. Let's take a look at the remaining vocabulary. Then translates to 然后, which is said with a mid-rising tone on A and a falling tone on O, like 然后. Good. Give will become 给, which is pronounced with a falling rising tone. Great! Bowl becomes 碗, which again has a falling rising tone. Here's a quick grammar tip for you. Recall that the word 碗 also means evening. It is important to understand that the word bowl here acts as a measure word, reflecting quantity rather than an object. Great! Let's move on with the vocabulary. Rice translates to 米饭, which has a falling rising tone on I and a falling tone on A, making it 米饭. Good job! Now let's take a look at the breakup of the sentence, so get us 2 bowls of rice. Then becomes 然后, while get translates as 给. Similarly, us becomes 我们, and 2 translates as 两. Bowls become 碗. And lastly, rice becomes 米饭. Thus, so get us 2 bowls of rice translates to 然后给我们2碗米饭. Literally meaning, then get us 2 bowls rice. Wonderful! Alright, it's quiz time now. Let's see if you remember what we've learned till now. What does 米饭 mean in English? Does it mean bowl? Or rice? Or is it meat? 米饭 means rice in English. Hope you got that one right. How do we say, my friend does not eat meat or fish in Mandarin? Do we say, 我朋友不吃肉，也不吃鱼? Or is it, 我不朋友吃肉，也鱼吃? The correct answer to the previous question is, 我朋友不吃肉，也不吃鱼. Great! Now let's move on. The next sentence we cover is, all right, what would you like to drink? Let us first cover the general phrase, all right. All right becomes 好的 in Mandarin. Once again, it's 好的. Excellent! Here's another grammar tip for you. In the sentence, what would you like to drink? You translates as you all, as the question is posed to more than one person. Here's some vocabulary you need to recall. You all translates as 你们. Like translates as 喜欢. And what translates as 什么. Great! Let us now see how to say drink in Mandarin. Drink translates to 喝, carrying a high-level tone. The sentence, what would you like to drink, translates as you all like drink what? Let's take a look at the breakup. You all translates to 你们, while like becomes 喜欢. Drink will become 喝, and what translates as 什么. Thus, all right, what would you like to drink? Translates as 好的，你们喜欢喝什么? Excellent! One reply to the previous question can be, I'd want a little red wine. Recall that want translates as 要, and a little as 点儿. Let's look at words red and wine now. Red translates as 红, which is pronounced with a mid-rising tone on O. Note that this is the same word spoken twice. Wine translates as 葡萄酒, which carries a mid-rising tone on the first U and a falling rising tone on the second U, becoming 葡萄酒. An interesting fact to note here is that the word wine breaks up into two separate words, meaning grape plus liquor. 葡萄 means grapes, and 酒 means liquor. So the sentence, I want a little red wine, breaks down as I want a little red wine suggestion particle. Here's something you need to know about the suggestion particles. Mandarin has a way of softening requests or suggestions by adding the final particle ba. Using the final particle ba is equivalent to using a question tag or making a suggestion. The final particle ba is always used at the end of a sentence. Great! Now let's take a look at the breakup of this sentence. I translates as 我, while want becomes 要. A little will be 点儿, while red becomes 红. Also, wine translates as 葡萄酒, and the suggestion particle here will be ba. Thus, I want a little red wine will translate as 我要点红葡萄酒吧. Good! Now that we've learned this sentence, let's look at the translation of a few other beverages that are commonly used. Coke translates as 可乐, while water becomes 水. Tea translates as 茶, and coffee becomes 咖啡. Similarly, juice becomes 果汁, while beer will be 啤酒. And lastly, iced tea translates as 冰茶. Great! Alright, once again, it's quiz time. What does water translate to? Does it become 茶? Or is it 水? Or is it simply 可乐? Water translates to 水 in Mandarin. Hope you did great there. What does 你们喜欢喝什么 translate as? Does it mean, what would you like to drink? Or is it, you like to drink wine? The correct answer to the previous question is, what would you like to drink? Here's another one. What does wine translate to? Does it become 葡萄酒? Or is it 红酒? Or is it 红葡萄酒 instead? Wine translates to 葡萄酒 in Mandarin. Hope you got all of them right. Great! That finishes our lesson for the day. Let's quickly review the conversation and vocabulary we've learned today. Let's start with the conversation. My friend does not eat meat or fish translates to 我朋友不吃肉，也不吃鱼。While so get us 2 bowls of rice becomes 然后给我们2碗米饭。All right, what would you like to drink becomes 好的，你们喜欢喝什么？ I'd want a little red wine translates as 我要点红葡萄酒吧。Finally, all right becomes 好的。Here's the vocabulary we covered earlier. Coke translates as 可乐, while water becomes 水. Tea translates as 茶, and coffee becomes 咖啡. Similarly, juice becomes 果汁, while beer will be 啤酒. And lastly, iced tea translates as 冰茶. All right, it's time for the culture leaf of the day. Today, we shall learn about the Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army, or the Terracotta Warriors and Horses, is a collection of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. It is a form of funerary art buried with the emperor in 2010 to 2009 BC, whose purpose was to protect the emperor in his afterlife. The terracotta figures are life-sized and vary in height, uniform, and hairstyle in accordance with rank. The figures include warriors, chariots, and horses as well. Current estimates are that there are over 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, and 520 horses, and 150 cavalry horses, the majority of which are still buried in the pits nearby Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum. The Terracotta Army was discovered on the 29th of March, 1974 to the east of Xi'an, in Shanxi Province, by a group of farmers when they were digging a water well around 1.6 kilometers, or 1 mile, east of the Qin Emperor's tomb mound at Mount Li. Here you can see a picture of the Terracotta Army. In the next lesson, we shall learn about the various interrogations that we have in Mandarin via the scenario of a party. Hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you at the alley for the next one.